Welcome, everybody. Thumbs up if you can see me and you can hear me. What's up, Michael Sirota? We got Joe Sheridan. We got Petya. Some serious representation by our investment club. We also got Robert Holder in the house, Robert Lemp, Peter Crumley. David, nice to see you. Arthur, good to see you. Abby, Angel, we got Lyle, we got Andrea, we got a bunch of people. Ibrahim as well. Nice to see you, Barbara. Thank you for turning the camera on. You know I'm a sucker to see your beautiful faces, and so please turn these cameras on. I need to see eyeballs, the whites of your eyes, Jason Morgan and Mateo and Tom Wilson. Otherwise, I got this bad habit of tossing you off the call. So going to give you about 60 more seconds to turn cameras on. Folks, yesterday was a massive day. How many people followed the news yesterday? Hands up if you saw what happened with the Grayscale case, with the SEC being told to review their ruling against Grayscale. This is a big moment, and it's been the talk of town in crypto. Bitcoin immediately was up $2,000. That's a big move. And what was more interesting is the volume involved. The volume was much higher than the amount that was traded when Bitcoin went from 29,000 back down to about 25.5. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. There's a lot of mixed messages. We've all been really frustrated with Gary Gensler of the SEC. Hands up if the guy frustrates you a little bit, which is kind of crazy because he used to be one of the greatest and most knowledgeable advocates of the blockchain. He taught a course at MIT Sloan School of Management, my alma mater, back in 2018. You can go actually take it on YouTube. It's 24 hours long. I went through the whole thing with him about a year ago. And he's really knowledgeable. And he says things in there like Ethereum's not a security. And all the things he said on that course, he's now completely taken back because let's be honest, he's basically in a political role right now. He is aiming for Secretary of Treasury someday. And so he is now towing the line of whatever party is in power, which is kind of a shame because, we really would hope that that's not partisan. And it actually is part of the executive branch. The SEC is not supposed to make decisions. They're not part of the court system. They're actually part of the executive branch. They're supposed to do what has already been decided. And yet Gary has really got a bee in his bonnet, and he's trying to do everything to prevent crypto from being adopted. Does that make sense to everybody here? Raise your hand. Yeah. What we really hope is going to happen is that we can fast forward to the elections and maybe we get a new president, and we'll definitely get a new SEC chair. And when that happens, folks, the crazy thing is it's a non-elected office. As soon as Gary's gone, you could easily see full speed ahead. Matter of fact, anyone but Gary would probably allow the ETFs to happen and a lot of things to happen. And again, if you had a neutral person or even, God forbid, a pro-crypto person that might actually be interested in promoting technology and finance in a place called America, go figure, right? Which used to be at the forefront of technology and finance, and now it's not. This is the first major piece of technology that America hasn't dominated in the last 200 years. It really is. 85% of crypto volume happens outside of the US. And that is really one man's fault, Gary Gensler. And again, it's a shocker to see because he actually is really intelligent. He understands the nuances of blockchain, but that's what happens when you go to Washington, D.C. So I want to talk about what happened. I want to talk about everything we're seeing behind the scenes. We actually invest in a lot of these companies behind the scenes. We're investing $4 million right now into 4 different deals in the artificial intelligence space, in the blockchain space, in the Web3 space, and also in the blockchain infrastructure space. So we're speaking to all the big people in this space, and we're hearing what they say. I'm actually off to Singapore in about 10 days for Token 2049, a big tech conference out there. And, Asia doesn't even listen to Gary. They're going full steam ahead. Hong Kong just approved retail for crypto. The gaming is going crazy over there. They're very pro-token. And so I'm really, really excited to get over to Singapore and hang out with a lot of my friends in the blockchain space, but really get the vibe over there because it's very different than what we feel in the States. Does that make sense to everybody here? And like right now, Petya and Joe and Michael, all of them are investing alongside us in a token deal that's one of the hottest metaverse projects out there that is being run by Animoca Brands, which is a $4 billion basically gaming venture capital fund for Web3. And we couldn't be more excited about this game. It's coming out on like a brand new Bitcoin chain. There's a lot of things I can't share with you, but it's incredibly exciting. But it comes from this Asian lens of everything. Actually, the gaming studio's in Paris. So it's like kind of a European Asian way. Meanwhile, in America, you can't even say the word token if you're the CEO of a Web3 company. And Petya, who's on this call, knows when we get pitched with CEOs that come on our Zoom calls every single week, a call just like this, as Petya knows, the CEOs of the Web3 companies, they don't talk about the token anymore, do they? So a year ago, their pitch decks all had tokens in there, potential tokens in the future. Now they don't say the word token. They're just selling equity right now because they don't want to feel the wrath of Gary Gensler. So this is huge. This is a big one. Oh, Zung's here as well from our investment club. So for everybody here, you're actually looking at a bunch of graduates of our Crypto and DeFi Academy and also 4 members of our investment club, which is kind of an 80-member strong group from all around the world that's investing millions and millions of dollars into some of the hottest, Web3 startups on the planet. And we're really excited to be here, but we can give you a little more insight. On top of that, I've had the best of the best on my show, London Real. And on top of that, I'm going to all of these conferences. We teach in our academy. And I also have like a lot of chats behind the scenes with these people as well. So we can bring you, honestly, information that nobody else can. And so that's what I want to drop on you tonight, because I think we're at the precipice of a massive move in crypto. Raise your hand if you agree with me here, right? It's just waiting to pump. We got the Bitcoin halving coming up in April, right? The rally usually starts about 6 months before and continues 3 months afterwards. So that means it's going to happen in October. It's going to be in September on Friday. It's getting close. And of course, the problem with markets is when everyone expects something to happen, that's usually when the opposite happens. And that's what we saw when Bitcoin sold off a couple of weeks ago, right? When we were expecting Bitcoin to make a move to 30 or 40,000, it of course sells off. So this is what we're dealing with. I want to show you the big things to remember. I want to make sure you're educating yourself. If you got any questions, stick them in the chat. I'll be answering them along the way. Today, I want to share you my insights, some important pieces of information, some videos, and also some insights from people that invest billions of dollars in this space. All right? Sound good to everybody here? Martini, do I need to throw anybody off? Wayne, Joseph, Kevin. What do you think, Martini? I don't know. I gotta throw a couple people off, right? All right, Kevin, you're gone. I'm sure you're a nice person, but now you have a whole evening that you can do something else with. And Joseph, sorry, you're gone as well. So for anybody else, last chance to turn the cameras on. And let's do this. Is everybody ready? All right, here we go, folks. I cooked this thing up fresh off the presses this morning. We got some hot video as well. All right, can everybody see this? Just thumbs up if you can see me, the headline, and look at that Bitcoin graph. Like, I didn't even make that up. Like, that's actually what happened yesterday. So again, here's the headline, folks. Bitcoin trading frenzy as Grayscale beats the SEC, or at least it looks like they're starting to beat the SEC. Is the bull market back? That's my question for you. Look at this Bitcoin graph. I mean, the numbers don't lie. Bitcoin has been flat for a long time. It's been hanging around this 26 level, and then boom, it pumped up to 2K yesterday. It's come off a little bit, but these are big moves. That's a big move. That was up 8% yesterday, okay? When you're on Wall Street, if something is up 8% in a year, that's a pretty good move, let alone a day. So it's happening. I want to talk about the ramifications, and I want to talk about how you can learn how to trade and profit from crypto. So pay attention and let's get started here. First, I just want to say this presentation is really for informational purposes only. It's not intended to be investment advice. If you do seek investment advice, please find a professional to do that. All right. Is that clear for everybody here? Thumbs up if that makes sense. Okay. All right, good. Let's jump into it. So big headlines yesterday. This is on Bloomberg. By the way, Bloomberg is just a massive news source on Wall Street. Everybody has a Bloomberg machine, and we use them to pull information up and send direct communication with each other. It was weird. We used to be able to DM each other on Wall Street, even back in like 1993 on the Bloomberg machines. So it's a very reliable source of information. And boom, there it is. Crypto scores landmark U.S. legal win with Grayscale ETF ruling. Okay. So the ruling by the appeals court, you can see, overturns the decision by the SEC to block the ETF. They've said, you've got to go take another look at this, is what they told the SEC. That's a strong move. Okay. Now, look, the SEC could continue to dig their heels in, but they're really losing credibility here. And this was a big, strong move from a court in Washington, D.C. to really push back and say, come on, guys, you know what? And there's tons of ETFs pending, not just Grayscale, BlackRock. There's a bunch of them just waiting to happen. So there you go. That's one of the headlines. Then CoinDesk came out and talked about how Bitcoin topped 28K on the back of that. But more importantly, crypto-related stocks soared more than 10%. So Coinbase was up 10%. A bunch of the other big stocks were up 10% on the back of it. And it ordered the SEC to vacate its rejection of Grayscale's bid to convert its Bitcoin trust into an ETF. Now, Grayscale has about $600 million, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, of Bitcoin in a trust. It's kind of like a pseudo ETF. ETF is an exchange traded future. And they really want to get it out of a trust and make it a spot ETF or something that tracks the spot price of Bitcoin, the actual day-to-day price of Bitcoin. They've been trying to do it for a long time, and this is the point of contention. But when the ETF opens up, we're expecting trillions of dollars to come into this market. If trillions go into Bitcoin, the price goes up significantly. Then the price of Ethereum goes up significantly. Then goes up Cardano and BNB, and it pulls everything up with it. Raise your hand if that makes sense to everybody here, right? This is what we've been waiting for. Financial Times, again, look at all these major publications. This is a pink sheet newspaper here in London that's considered, the most preeminent, most respected newspaper in London when it comes to finance. And they're covering this, of course, and they're asking about what this actually means for the SEC and the future of Bitcoin ETFs. Again, I've never, ever seen an SEC chairman that is acting, in my mind, almost in a criminal nature here. Like, it just makes no sense what Gary has been doing. He's literally been terrorizing the entire space. And it really is terrorizing because these companies are in fear of any move that they might make because there's no clarity, no direction. He won't meet with them. And it's all highly politically motivated, handed down right from the White House. And it's just a real shame. Here's the news, folks. All right. And this is the actual data of what happened. So again, you can see quotes here. It's a monumental step forward for American investors and to everybody in the Bitcoin ecosystem. And again, everybody that's been advocating for Bitcoin exposure through the added protections of an ETF wrapper. This is what Grayscale said in the statement. Everybody wants Bitcoin exposure, folks. All the pension funds want it. A lot of the investments want it because it's a non-correlated financial asset. And yet they can't get it because there's no ETF. So what happens next, as you can see the next headline, SEC has 45 days to decide whether to abide by the decision, and then they can go back, or they can take the appeal straight to the Supreme Court. Who knows what Gary's going to do? At some point, they have to capitulate, but they can make this drag on more if they want to. Final thing is the Grayscale decision is a hefty blow to the SEC. It's a real loss of face for the SEC because of the language the appeals court used to chastise them. All right. This is really what we needed. This is the signal to Gary that, look, you can't hold on much longer. Now, knowing Gary, he will dig in, but let's just see what he does because it gets to a point where even their own internal legal won't allow him to do that. And look, I found a really interesting video on this that just gave you a little bit of insight because I always try to back this up with some rich media since you're here. So this is just a quick synopsis from one of the channels here. Hold on one second. Yeah, there we go. So this was just a little update as far as what happened. So just pay attention to this news alert here.
Here for a spot Bitcoin ETF. We're just getting news that a D.C. Court of Appeals sided with Grayscale in its lawsuit against the SEC. This was after the agency denied Grayscale's application to convert its Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, that's GBTC, into a Bitcoin ETF. Check out shares of GBTC. Looks like they're up about 15% or so. This fund had really traded at a discount to Bitcoin amid fears that the fund would need to be wound down potentially if this ETF application wasn't improved. You can see it surging today on this news. Coinbase also, which is listed as a partner in a lot of these Bitcoin ETFs, it's up double digits as well, up more than 14% at this point. Bitcoin getting a pop here as well. It could pave the way, guys, for the first of its kind ETF here. Analysts have seen this as a way to really open up the floodgates to retail traders. It would allow the everyday investor to get access to Bitcoin in a brokerage account, for example, and make it easier to allocate to crypto. We do have a statement, guys, from Grayscale as well. They say, in part, this is monumental and a monumental step forward for American investors, the Bitcoin ecosystem, and all those who have been advocating for Bitcoin exposure through the added protections of the ETF wrapper. They go on to say the Grayscale team and legal advisors are actively reviewing the details outlined in the court's opinion. They're going to be pursuing next steps, they say, with the SEC. Grayscale, not the only one here in the Bitcoin ETF. You've got or application rather. You've got BlackRock and Fidelity also in line. And this has been seen as a major catalyst for prices. Bitcoin in particular, the cryptocurrency has really been trading sideways this year as volume drops and a lot of retail investor interest has slowed down along with prices. Back to you.
So there you go, folks. Pretty interesting, right? And pretty helpful. Again, like she said, the volume's been down and everybody's just really waiting for this moment. You know, the funny thing is, Martini, is I kind of expected Marianne Bartels from our investment club to be on CNBC. So one of our members inside the investment club, graduate from the Crypto and DeFi Academy, she's regularly on CNBC because she's former Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, chief information officer. And she's like almost always on there commenting. So I'm sure she'll probably be there in a couple of days talking about this. But it just goes to show you what's happening. This is an epic event. So, okay, what does that mean? Well, it means that everything that we've been waiting for in crypto is about to happen. And we're going to have to watch, but this could happen any day now. There could be a decision on this. In the meantime, apparently there was already accumulation of Bitcoin going on before this was announced. Does that make sense to everybody here, right? Now you might say, well, how could that happen, Brian? Aren't these things supposed to be sealed? Come on, right? You really think that nobody knew about this decision before it was actually posted, right? So again, people know about this. There's been large accumulations of Bitcoin behind the scenes. There's rumors that it's happening on an OTC basis. That means that people are buying Bitcoin not through exchanges, but through other means to keep it quiet. If that's the case, this is all prime for a potential move, but also there's a lot of factors that could still add to Bitcoin volatility. Some people are still saying we could test the mid-20s on Bitcoin in the next month, and there still could be some volatility as we get up near the halving. So this is what we need to do. What I like to do when times are like this is I like to talk to the experts more than anything. And it's important for me to have a steady supply of information coming from those experts. And so when it comes to this, I always go back to what's actually happening in the marketplace. So again, just to be clear, it's not just Grayscale, it's BlackRock that's not only filed once, but refiled for the Bitcoin ETF. BlackRock basically owns everything in the world, right? From your homes to your farmland to most of the major corporations. It's the single largest shareholder of, I think, the top 100 companies on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And so it's not just Grayscale that's trying to get in on this, so is BlackRock. On top of that, we have had rumors that there's a new wave, a $15 trillion earthquake that could be headed for the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Cardano, and all these other interesting ecosystems. And that's all of this pending demand that's just waiting for a decision like that. Because this is the truth, folks. How many people here own Bitcoin, by the way? Raise your hand if you own some Bitcoin, right? Now, look, do you have that on a hot wallet, on a cold wallet? Raise your hand if you have that on a cold wallet somewhere, right? Raise your hand if you have that on a hot wallet, right? Raise your hand if you have that on an exchange somewhere. Maybe it's still sitting on Coinbase or something. So my point is that it's actually hard to hold physical Bitcoin. And if you're an institution like a bank, you can't hold Bitcoin on your balance sheet without causing some major alarm bells. Does that make sense to everybody here? Right? So it's actually hard. It would be like if you tried to hold gold or cattle or some other weird commodity. It's actually hard to hold. And so what's easy to do is you buy an ETF, an exchange traded future that represents that. Then you can put it anywhere you want. You can have it in a pension fund. You can have it here. You can have it there. It's basically just like a piece of paper, like a stock certificate. So this is what everyone's waiting for because there is a tremendous demand for these basic crypto assets. Bitcoin's number one, but don't get it twisted. Ethereum's right behind it. Most of the market is now very comfortable with Ethereum as an asset class because it's been around for so long. And again, futures have been traded on Ethereum and Bitcoin at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange for a few years. I had Chris Giancarlo on the show, who was the former head of the CFTC, and he bragged to me. He said, Brian, we brought the Ethereum future live back in 2018. We wanted to give this option to all the financial institutions out there. So they're waiting, but they really need the spot ETF more than anything. On top of that, we've been hearing what I talked about earlier, this great accumulation of Bitcoin, right? From BlackRock to Deutsche Bank and all these other industry giants, right? They want to dump trillions into this market, not to mention all of these sovereign wealth funds. I mean, again, you look at the size of these sovereign wealth funds in Qatar, in the Emirates, in Saudi. I'll be out there in October. I mean, you're talking about a lot of money, right? So if they put 1% of their fund in there, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars going into a market that's only $1 trillion in size. What happens if you put $15 trillion into a $1 trillion market? What do you think the price goes? Up or down? Can I see some fingers? Up or down? What do we think? Probably up, probably a lot, right? I mean, you could argue if you put $15 trillion into a $1 trillion market, the price will go up 15x, right? You could probably argue. So when you got people out calling for $100,000 Bitcoin by the halvening, which is April of next year, or $300,000 Bitcoin in the next 24 months, they're not as crazy as it might sound. This is Larry Fink. He's the CEO of BlackRock. 2 years ago, just like JP Morgan and just like Warren Buffett, he was calling Bitcoin rat poison, right? Not anymore. In the last few weeks, he's now gone on to say that it's an international asset and it's digital gold. So I didn't realize he now has a side hustle as the chief marketing officer for Bitcoin, but quite frankly, we'll take it. And this is Michael Saylor, who's been on my show twice, who's got $5 billion of Bitcoin on his public company balance sheet. Him tweeting this out saying, hey, everybody, pay attention. When a guy like Larry Fink is promoting this asset class, it means two things. First of all, it's about to get adopted. Second of all, Larry probably already owns a lot of it, right? Raise your hand if you think they probably already own a lot of Bitcoin. Yeah, probably. I spent enough time with these guys on Wall Street. Yeah, probably so. So this is what's happening. We haven't seen the price action yet. It's going to happen when we least expect it. That's what I'm going to tell you. So it's probably not going to happen in the next month. And then it's going to happen when you're sleeping. It's going to happen on the back of what looks like bad news. Bitcoin might come down by $4,000 and then it'll probably pop up by 15 grand, something crazy like that. So keep an eye out for that. On top of all this that's going on, you've got other signs that this is moving forward. PayPal launched a dollar stablecoin a couple weeks ago. That blew my mind. The fact without stablecoin regulation, a company like PayPal would go out there and thumb their nose at the US government. Again, it also shows me that they know something that we don't. So there's a lot of signs coming together, folks, that's really predicting, in my opinion, a bull run in this space. We're going to have to see what happens. But like I said, in times like this, I like to consult the experts as far as what's going on. Enter my good friend, Dan Tapiero. Okay. He is a macro guru. He runs a fund called One RT. Actually, he's raising for money for a fund called One RT, $1 billion. He currently runs a $1 billion fund called 10T Holdings. He actually used to do business with the bank I started working at called Bankers Trust back in 1993 when I was just a green college graduate. Dan Tapiero was doing derivative trades with the salespeople right behind me on that same desk. And he believes Bitcoin's going to a $10 trillion market cap. That's a 10x from here, which would basically take Bitcoin from about 30,000 right up to 300,000. I am been really blessed to become good friends with Dan. He's been on London Real now, I think about 3, maybe 4 times. I'm going to see him out in Singapore as well. And on top of all that, we're actually putting $1 million into his fund right now as well. And I'll talk about that shortly. But I wanted to bring Dan up because Dan is a macro guy. What does that mean? It means that he looks at the big picture of everything. And so in that sense, he can be really helpful for all of us to kind of understand where this market is going. And so this is my more recent conversation with Dan Tapiero. Take a listen to what he had to say.
We're the only fund that focuses exclusively on blockchain and crypto business.
I still remember the conversation we had 17 months ago. You said, look, Brian, I'm not the guy that's going to get you 100x. I'm going to get you 10x. And I'm going to invest in companies with revenue. It was not what people wanted to hear when Bitcoin hit its high in November. But then fast forward 18 months, you're looking like one of the savviest investors out there.
We are investing at the growth stage. We're looking to invest in companies that are going to be able to withstand the bear phase. A company like Animoca made more revenue in 22 than in 21. Think about that for a second. You had a massive bear phase in the cryptocurrency markets, and here's a company that actually did better. Of the 26 investments, we only had one that was impaired. It was only 2.5% of total assets.
I think you had a term where you said under the hood, there's a lot going on. All of these things are growing and building. The price of Ethereum can stay the same, and they're still going to create hundreds of millions of dollars of value.
We try to pick established companies companies that are making big chunks of revenue because they have the flexibility to take that risk, add that business line, buy that small company that could be building the future.
You plan on just introducing synergies between all of those companies. You can create a ton of value for your portfolio companies.
We are going to be very focused on helping bring some of our companies to the public markets. 5 years from now, Coinbase is not going to be the only public crypto blockchain business in the world. 10 trillion is what I hope would be the value of the digital asset ecosystem, which is the value of all the cryptocurrencies and all the equity in the space.
What do we think of Dan Tapiero, right? We feeling him? He's got a great handle on things. And he said to me, he said, Brian, you could give me Warren Buffett. You can give me one of the old school Wall Street guys. He said, within 30 minutes, I can pretty much flip all of them. He's like, because I can speak their language. I can explain to them what's going on here. And, oh man, Martina, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to pull up really quickly a copy of his deck, because I wouldn't normally do this. But folks, since we are actually in an amazing situation where I can show you things like this, I always like to show you. I can't show you the whole deck because of like privacy reasons. But what I want to show you is this. This is a quick sneak peek on how Dan thinks. And this is why we love him. This is why we're putting $1 million into his fund. Can everybody see this graph here? You can kind of see this graph. And what this is this is mapping the adoption of the internet on to the adoption of blockchain. Does that make sense to everybody here? He's basically taking something that happened 25 years ago and comparing it to what's happening in blockchain. And if you look at that big blue text there that says "we are here," we are basically in 1998 when it comes to internet adoption. By the way, was anyone here on the internet in 1998? Raise your hand if you were, right? Were you? Barely, right? Barely. Not many hands, right? So we got David Myber. You're a little old school. I think I was on there. I think I was going on holiday to like a ski resort, and I think I checked one of them out or something. But I wasn't really using it that heavily in 98. Now, a couple of years later, I did. But that's where we are. We're at 4% adoption, folks. Now, imagine the internet today, right? It's adopted by 90-some% of people in the world, right? Something crazy. Well, actually, Dan said it's only still 68% according to this graph. That's where we are. Back in 98, like eBay was still coming into fruition. Amazon was just barely getting started. Facebook and Google didn't exist yet, right? We're way, way early. And if you think of it that way, Dan says, look, over the next 5 years, 7 years, this market is going to go bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's why he says it's going to go, say, 10 times bigger. Does that make sense to everybody here? Really helpful, right? And again, that's why we love having people like Dan in our ecosystem, because he can pull up things like that and remind us where things are going. So again, that's a little bit of a perspective from Dan. As far as takeaways from Dan, this is what I get out of that. Animoca, which by the way, is a company he invested in. I've had Yatsu, the chairman of Animoca, on the show 3 times. We're investing in 2 Animoca deals right now, but they made more money in 2022 than they did in 2021. Think about that. In 2021, Bitcoin hit 69,000. In 2022, Bitcoin hit 15,500. And yet Animoca made more money in 22. What does that mean? That means that despite the price of the Bitcoin, the ecosystem is growing. Does that make sense to everybody here, right? If the revenues are up, it's continuing to grow. And this is the mistake a lot of people make. I've been in so many crashes on Wall Street. I was in the dot-com bubble. I was in the mortgage crisis. I was in the Asian crisis. I was in the Russian crisis. I was in the Latin American crisis. The prices go down, but business continues. And that's what's important to remember about this ecosystem. Again, Dan says digital assets are going from 1 trillion to 10 trillion. And he says crypto adoption is inevitable. Raise your hand if you agree with Dan Tapiero. Inevitable. It is, folks. This is not going anywhere. You fast forward 10 years from now, I would say every minute of your day is going to be embodied by some type of a transaction on the blockchain. It will. Everything about what you do, from your data to your finances, everything is going to be on the blockchain. It's inevitable. So don't get caught up in Gary Gensler or what they're doing with regulation. It's only going one way. And that's why I like having Dan around to remind us of this. Again, just to take a step back, we are currently investing over $4 million into not 3, actually 4 crypto AI deals. And just so I know, just a little sneak peek for Petya And for David and for Joe and Zung and Martini, I think we got another deal coming as well. I just spoke to someone yesterday. So we might have a fourth deal coming in maybe either tomorrow or Monday. So it's busy here, to say the least. And this allows us to have our finger on the pulse of what's actually happening in this space. Because when you're writing checks and you're getting CEOs pitching to you, you get so much information because people start singing like canaries when they're trying to raise money. And they tell you what blockchains they're using, who's raising money, who's not. Is the market bullish? Is it bearish? What's going on? So we get a lot of information because we're also an investor and we're a broadcaster and we're an educator. Matter of fact, some days I feel like I have more information than Gary Gensler. Some days I feel like I have more information than Coinbase because we're at the nexus of so many points here at London Real. This is what we use to invest in. This is London Real Ventures. We're the world's first media-powered investment firm. We've married the London Real Media channel, 12 years, 1 billion views, 5 million subscribers, into an investment firm that cuts $1 million checks on a clip. Putting those two together has never been done in history, and it allows us to see the hottest deals in the world. These are some of our investments that we've already invested in, and this is 1RT. This is Dan's $1 billion fund that we're putting $1 million into right now with our members. This is in the upper left-hand corner. It's just a bunch of the companies he's already invested in. Again, it's the picks and shovels, the bricks and mortar of the blockchain business. He is investing in the companies that are literally household names in crypto. Your hard wallet, your cold wallet is made by Ledger. He's invested in. Your hot wallet is made by MetaMask. He's invested in Consensus, right? Your Bored Apes are made by Yuga Labs. He's invested in them. He's invested in Animoca Brands. The list goes on and on and on. And we're getting in on that risk from a long-term perspective. So we couldn't be more excited. And look, this is what we do here. The mission at London Real is what you see on the back wall here at our headquarters in London. It's to create a mass scale transformation of humanity into a fully empowered, conscious, and cooperative species. Every piece of content, every class I teach, every documentary film we release is about that. And now every investment is about that as well. We want to make you and all of humanity fully empowered, conscious, and cooperative. And quite frankly, blockchain is all of those things. I always remind my blockchain guests when they come over that this was on our wall before Bitcoin got hot, right? And so we've always been about this, and we invest in the exact same way. So that's what we've been doing here. But folks, just to be honest, it's not just business for me, it's personal, because I'm looking out for the future of these two fellas, which are my sons, Caden and Damon. They have Bitcoin wallets right now on their computers, right here at the world headquarters. And so they already have the Bitcoin position. They already are starting to understand about fiat currency and cryptocurrency. Of course, they're learning about AI, and I'm looking out for their future as well, and they're coming along for the ride on this ecosystem. So again, it's all in the family, and we're doing this because I am concerned about the future. What's going to happen? If we don't have financial freedom, we have no freedom whatsoever. Are we going to have freedom of speech? What's happening with AI? That's another conversation. This is all on my mind, and that's why we work a little extra hard here at London Real. I get up a little earlier and stay a little bit later because our families are involved. The future of humanity is very much involved here. And so our thesis all comes down to something that I kind of stole from Sun Tzu, who wrote a book called The Art of War many thousands of years ago in China. And he says this: every battle is won before it's ever fought. I want you all to think about that. And by the way, raise your hand if that makes sense to you. Every battle is won before it's ever fought. Now, what does that mean? You might say, Brian, what the hell does that mean? Well, this is what it means, in my opinion, and this is the way we operate here at London Real, inside our academies and inside London Real Ventures as well. We believe in preparation. Preparation is king, because if you are prepared, then every battle is won before it's ever fought, right? It's always won before it's ever fought. I don't go into fights and challenges to roll the dice thinking, let's hope for the best, right? That's not how I live my life. And so inside our academy, inside everything we do, we're constantly preparing. And that means during the crypto winter, when all the crypto influencers are now makeup influencers, right? They've all gone to chase some other market. We have been here doing the hard work, right? We've been building London Real Ventures. We've been teaching over 1,000 students the basics of crypto and DeFi because we are ready to win. And so, and when this market comes back, and it could happen any day from now, we are going to make a killing, and I'm going to make my students filthy rich because of it. And so we are preparing because we have already won the future battles of the bull market. because we have been working hard every single day. Does that make sense to everybody here? How many people like that philosophy? I like to win. We all like to win, right? So that's what we do here. This is Mark Yusko, another expert that we have the honor of being very close to in this space. Mark is a guy that runs billions of dollars in crypto. And he has come on recently and is, again, another macro guy. Him and Dan are very close. And he has talked about Bitcoin, inflation, and blockchain. He believes it's the greatest wealth creation opportunity of our lifetime. And again, I want to share with you a couple of tidbits of these experts because they'll remind you maybe what you already know in this space, maybe not. But Mark has some really interesting insights. And again, he has got the gray hair, right? He's not some crypto kid that's a fair weather friend that bought some Bitcoin a couple of years ago and is now driving around in a Lambo in Dubai. All right. Mark has been in the markets for 40 years and he understands basic finance. He understands stocks and bonds and real estate and commodities. And so when he talks about crypto, it means a lot more to me. And this is what Mark told me recently on one of our live broadcasts.
This idea that it's just Bitcoin, just Ethereum, no, it's the technological evolution, not revolution. What blockchain will do to financial services is what the internet did to media and commerce. But it doesn't just transfer market cap, it expands. Blockchain busts the monopoly of finance, and they make lots of money being the trusted third parties between the exchange of value. What blockchain technology does is it goes from dual entry accounting to triple entry accounting. Now you have a ledger, I have a ledger, but there's this third ledger that exists in an encrypted form permanently, immutably. We're replacing trust with truth. This fundamentally changes how humanity interacts. Why? Well, because people are realizing that when you put your money in the bank, it's no longer your money. Well, with blockchain, we don't need that. So it allows us to break the shackles. Humanity moves forward because of human creativity, human ingenuity, innovation.
You mentioned FTX. What do you think actually happened?
I don't believe Sam Bankman-Fried and Caroline were the masterminds of anything. And I think there is a much higher power that masterminded the whole thing to disparage crypto, to slow down the adoption.
You're excited. You think there's great opportunities in this market, and you're just looking forward to the next 10 years, knowing that this will all happen. It's just about how it happens.
I am incredibly optimistic. It's just so inspiring to be around people who are looking forward, who are looking for solutions and innovations. What I actually love to do is seek people with opposite views, to have dialogue and debate in search of truth. And now the problem is you're not allowed to talk to people. Left can't talk to right, up can't talk to down. No, that's what you need to do. Talk to listen and learn and discern. You may still believe what you believe and you may believe it more, but occasionally you might change your mind.
All right, what do we think of Mark Yusko? We appreciate his insights. Very interesting stuff, right? Very interesting. What do you think about his opinion on FTX? Do you think he's right about FTX? Raise your hand. That he doesn't buy, that it was just Sam and Carol goofing around down there in the Bahamas, that he thinks it was something else. One thing I will say is it was very convenient, right? That FTX was completely taken out only for a few months later for BlackRock and all the other banks to come in, right? And again, Mark is, he runs billions of dollars. Like, he's a well-respected Wall Street guy. So he's not like some conspiracy theorist. And I've had a few of those on my show, but he just brought that up and he's like, I don't buy it, Brian. I was like, okay, respect. So again, great to see the stuff that he brings out here. My big takeaways from Mark are the following. And again, he's got some really unique things to say, and that's why I pay attention. And they're this. Crypto is technological evolution. It's not revolution. This is an important thing to remember. This is a natural progression of the way we as humans transact with each other when it comes to value. Does that make sense to everybody here? And it's great that a guy like that says that. Next thing he says is that Bitcoin busts the monopoly of finance. This is important because he's been in the banking world for such a long time. He realizes that Bitcoin busts all of that. I worked for 15 years on Wall Street. Then I worked in Chicago, and then I worked here in the city of London in the derivatives markets. And I know more than anyone that they don't want Bitcoin here. They don't want decentralized finance. They don't want crypto because it ruins this multi-trillion-dollar racket that they've been running on you, the public, since the 1500s in the Medici banking system. Does that make sense to everybody here, right? The banking system sucks out like a leech 6 to 8% of global GDP every single year. Think about that. 6 to 8% of global GDP is sucked out by the banking sector. They take your money every year, and guess what? You don't even know it, right? No fees, they'll tell you, on your bank accounts. Meanwhile, they're sucking away all of your savings and your income, and you're none the wiser. This is the way it works. It's a polished machine. They've been running this con for hundreds of years, and they'll run it, and you'll be none the wiser. So again, this is all happening behind the scenes. Lastly, Mark says, crypto replaces trust with truth. Think about that. Why trust your bank? Why trust something when you can have the truth? You know, a lot of people in Canada during the trucker strike about 18 months ago trusted their bank to hold their money for them. Were those people disappointed? Raise your hand if you think they were maybe disappointed, right? There were lots of people that had their assets seized and their crypto taken from them, not because they were deemed doing something illegal, not because they were deemed breaking the law, because they showed up to a protest. Think about that, folks, right? That should be a big red alert that you want to get your money out of that banking system. So that was Mark. And again, I love sharing that stuff with you because they're important. By the way, I just wanted to share this with you for free. This is our 8-step trading checklist that we give our students inside of our Crypto and DeFi Academy. It's one of the many lessons that we teach on our 4-week course. And most people have no idea how to trade. Most people are terrible traders because the human brain was built to lose money when it comes to trading. The key one that I really want to highlight here is number 4. Number 4 is one of the most important lessons when it comes to trading, but most people fail to do that. And that is this: once you have profit in a trade, never let it become a loss. If you could follow this one rule, you would save yourself millions of dollars over your trading career. By the way, just being honest with me, how many people here have ever had a profit in a trade that you've let go into a loss? Come on, be honest, right? Anybody that owned Bitcoin in the last couple of years, that was you, right? Because your Bitcoin went up to 69,000 and then it went back down to 15,000. All because you didn't take profits. This is a standard thing because you were hoping it would go higher and then you rode it all the way down into the toilet as it went down. And this is the case, is that humans are terrible traders. And that's why we teach you the discipline in module 4 inside this course, to where you can take profits in a trade, put stop losses in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So take a screenshot of this if you want. That's yours for free. But we go deeper in this in my Crypto and DeFi Academy course. I want to share one more expert testimonial with you because I think it's really relevant right now. And that is the man himself. This is Yatsu. He is the chairman of Animoca Brands. Again, he runs about a $4 billion portfolio filled with 600 Web3 gaming metaverse companies. He's the first guy that explained the metaverse to me 2 years ago. I've become good friends with Yat. I've seen him in Europe. I've seen him in America. I've seen him everywhere. And I'll see him in Singapore in about 2 weeks' time. And he came on recently to talk to me about what's going on and why all of this is so important. He also explains the metaverse because a lot of people think that the metaverse is something that it isn't. The metaverse all comes down to digital property rights. And I want you to think of that and view this through that lens, because we all have the right to own our digital property. And if we don't, you're looking at a future that's going to be very, very dangerous. Listen as Yat explains that concept to me.
Why would you exist in a Web2 paradigm where you're making literally pennies on the dollar when you should be receiving your fair share of value, which is what's happening in Web3? So that is the meaning of the open universe. And if you're not in it, then I think you're really sort of not seeing where the future is, because virtual work, I think, is the future anyway.
It's not a new thing. This is just us, but now represented digitally, and it's only going one way.
Where are we spending our time? We're spending our time digitally. Owning our data, owning the derivative of our data is so, so critical, and people don't understand that, especially in this age of AI. Because after all, AI lives off our data. We are feeding the AI. You wouldn't have ChatGPT or self-driving cars if it wasn't for our data. And how much are we getting paid for it? big fat zero.
You're giving away your data and someone's selling it back to you.
That trade of that data commodity has always been locked until today.
One of the things we aren't taught in school is we're not taught about money.
No, not at all.
And
it's a scandal, if you ask me. I think it's scandalous. When you onboard any person from Web 2 to Web 3, you're not just opening a wallet for them. The effective onboarding comes with financial education. That's the part that has been missing. If now billions of people have similar knowledge about financial systems, that to me becomes the antidote for financial abuse.
Do you think the fight for digital property rights is the most important fight of the human species?
What we're building is bigger than us. If you don't have property rights, you can't have freedom. If you can't have the ownership of it, then you can't predict the future for it. If you can see your future, then you can build towards it, and you're naturally optimistic. If you can't see your future, that's, I think, where trouble begins.
What do we think of Yatsu? Right? We feeling this guy? I'm telling you, I get so inspired every time I hang out with this guy. I think he's one of the top 5 most important people right now in the entire space. And he spends all of his time traveling the world trying to make sure that he can promote Web3, blockchain, digital property rights. I saw him in Paris, and then I saw him in Texas, and then he was in Buenos Aires, and he didn't go home to Hong Kong for 45 days. I mean, he's just constantly out there spreading the word. I just DM'd him on WhatsApp yesterday, and I said, yeah, we just closed 2 more deals with Animoca. I said, we want to do more with you. So they're coming back with more deals for us. So that's what's going on. I love Yat. I think it's a really interesting perspective. My takeaways from what he said are the following. First of all, Web3 gives us our freedoms back. This is so important, folks. And look, I'm on the tip of the spear here. Back in 2020, YouTube tried to shut down my entire channel. They tried to deplatform me for putting someone's opinion out there, and they tried to censor me. Anybody remember that? We got a documentary film that's premiering in London on October 6th. If you want to watch the premiere of that film, that's in real life, by the way. They've just recently taken down hundreds of my videos off my site. It's because I don't have my freedom. That's a Web 2 company, and they control my relationship with my subscribers. They can censor me whenever they want. Web 3 gives us our freedoms back. It means I own my digital property. I own my digital subscribers. I own my content. That's so very important. Point number 2 Yat makes is the metaverse is the future. And by the way, folks, the metaverse isn't some, headset on your head where you walk in and you're talking to a cat and you're a dog. What do you think this is right here, folks? How many people think we're in a metaverse right now? Raise your hand. This is a metaverse. It's a Zoom call, right? I mean, I'm looking at Petya and Zung and Joe and Michael. I'm as close to them as anyone else in my life, right? It's true, right? I know these people, right? I know these people. I trust these people. I love these people because we spent so much time together in this metaverse, right? So folks, we're already in metaverses. Metaverse is in any way where humans digitally connect and communicate. That's it. It could be a WhatsApp group. It could be a Zoom group. It could be some virtual reality. But this is the future. It's happening right now. A lot of us work via this way, right? A lot of us interact with the entire world. During lockdown, that was our reaction. So we're already here, folks. We just need to embrace it and then make sure that we can own it. Lastly, a really important point that Yat makes is that crypto will empower the AI economy. We're making a $1 million investment right now in one of the hottest AI companies on the planet. And so we understand that crypto will empower that AI economy because we have to track things, property rights, digital rights, all these things, and the data that's being trained on, all that is going to really push crypto forward. So this is the important stuff that I really wanted you to think about. And so you're probably saying, okay, Brian, well, how do I create generational wealth? How can I be involved in this massive bull market in crypto? Well, ultimately, folks, you got to take action. And I call it pulling the trigger. Unless you do that, nothing's going to happen. And that's what we do constantly behind the scenes. We educate people. And of course, as you know, we're making big investments behind the scenes. This is one of the first blockchain companies that we invested in back in 2021. It's called Cross the Ages. It's the hottest blockchain gaming company out there right now. This is Sammy Schlagu, the CEO. I had him on the show. This is his interview. But literally, this is dominating their app store. They're selling millions of dollars worth of NFTs. After he was on the show, they got an additional $12 million investment from Animoca and one of the biggest gaming companies in France, Ubisoft. We're expecting the token to launch this year. have a 10x pop, and it's going to go up from there. So we have a track record of successfully investing and teaching our students how to make money in this space. And it goes on and on. You know, we have a whole list of portfolio companies. This is Orange Comet. This is the CEO, David Broom. They're building metaverses for some of the biggest Hollywood franchises on the planet right now. This is Eric Poulier of Vadim. They're building metaverses for some of the biggest companies out there, including Google, Slack, PepsiCo, Frito-Lay, you name it. This is Jason Ma of Open. He's building the hottest new Web3 super app. We're investing in this company now, and he's creating something that will save me from being oppressed by YouTube sometime in the future. And we're investing in this company right now. Of course, as you know, we're investing in 1RT, which is Dan Tapiero's billion-dollar fund. We're investing in the OpenAI killer. We're investing in Life Beyond, which is the metaverse play where fiction becomes reality. We're pretty busy here, folks, as you know, but it really gives us a pulse on what's going on. And we've got a track record of success. And my plan is to make all of my students and investment club members filthy rich. And that's what we're going to do. And so this is what's happening behind the scenes. And it gives us a good idea on how we can educate you as fast as possible and as effective as possible. But you have to make a decision that you want to be involved in this ecosystem, because watching another podcast or coming to another masterclass is not going to make you money. It's really not. You're going to have to take action and get involved. And so I believe the greatest way to predict the future is to go out there and create it. How many people agree with that? Just hands up if you agree with that statement. That's what we're about here at London Real. Taking action, being held accountable, and really getting in there and doing something, right? Not watching it, not procrastinating, not watching all of this wealth pass you by. You probably missed the last bull market in crypto. Don't miss this next one. And it could pop at any moment, like today. I mean, it popped yesterday while I was giving one of these master classes. So it can happen, and it's going to be too late for you. And so to successfully invest long-term in crypto, I believe you need three things. You need education, you need mentorship, and you need a community. So many people don't realize you need these three things. And very, very, very few platforms out there offer all three. But actually we do. And we do that inside my Crypto and DeFi Academy. It's a 4-week course, and we teach you everything you need to know. I give you the mentorship. We have a bulletproof curriculum, and we've got an incredible group of community members, 1,000 graduates, I think in over 80 countries from around the world, that can actually help you along the way. And they're going to be your community probably for the next 10 years. If you look at my members of the investment club, everyone in my investment club has been together for 18 months for the founding members, coming up probably on 20 months now. And they're going to be together for the next 10 years is our plan. It's the greatest community we've ever built. People find their best friends there, people creating companies in there, becoming influencers, going to conferences, investing in the hottest deals on the planet. And this is what we teach. And again, folks, remember, it's estimated that currently centralized finance it extracts over $9 trillion annually from the economy. Just think about that. $9 trillion annually. And we want to disrupt this market and funnel some of that money into the crypto and DeFi ecosystem. And like I said, get filthy rich in the process. That's the only way you're going to add value, is to also create wealth for yourself. We know global brands like Amazon, Apple, and PayPal are all going into this system. They're all developing this. They're all investing in this. And it's only a matter of time, folks, before this happens. So what are you waiting for? We know the benefits of decentralized finance. There's no middleman. There's no bankers, and there's, of course, no banks. This is crucial, and it's going to completely revolutionize the way people understand and connect with our money. Again, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for some Canadian bank to take your money away? Are you waiting for some event to go and make all of the money you have in an institution disappear? Are you waiting for the Federal Reserve or the Bank of England to print so much money that your money becomes worthless? This is happening every day, folks. And this is why you have to get involved in crypto and DeFi now. And so that's what we do. This is your chance to become part of the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. We have 4 weeks, 4 modules. It's an invitation-only course. You almost always have to apply to be in this course. But I've got a special link from you if you want to pull the trigger tonight. And again, our courses are very unique. I teach them all personally and live, okay? It's 8 hours of live calls and personal instructions from me. You get access to our online e-learning platform with all of the recorded modules, 20, 30 videos, right? I've got a triple tiered accountability system, which means you will show up and you will do the work. Trust me. Trust me. We've got dedicated coaches, team leaders, and community managers that make sure you get this done in 4 weeks. We got a private group for posting assignments, videos, you name it. You will love this course. We've been teaching online courses now coming up on 8 years. We're very, very, very good at it. We get crazy results. And you can join us now because you're on this call. You've actually been pre-approved at londonreal.tv/buy. If you normally go onto the website through one of our emails, you have to apply. I do read all the applications, but you have to get accepted. Right now, you've actually been pre-approved. The next course starts, I think, in less than 2 weeks. I think it's like 10 days. This is our curriculum. Week 1, we go deep into the history of all of the crypto and decentralized finance and Bitcoin. You'll actually read the Bitcoin white paper. You'll learn about smart contracts. You'll learn about the ICO boom and bust. You'll learn about the summer of DeFi. You'll learn about all of these major events that is going to tell you what's going to happen in the future. Then module 2, we get stuck, folks. We get right in the arena. You're going to get a cold wallet. You're going to get a hot wallet. You're going to buy stable coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum. You're going to sign up for centralized exchanges, and you're going to execute your first swap on a decentralized exchange. This is something that most people have never done, and you're going to do it in week 2. But we're just getting started, folks. In week 3, you're going deeper on more complicated instruments. You're going to do yield swapping, liquidity pools, and you're going to buy an option on either Bitcoin or Ethereum. Yes, I said it, because I believe that options and derivatives are the way forward. And I'm going to teach you the things that I learned on Wall Street over the past 30 years. But that's not it. Module 4 is crucial because I'm going to teach you how to profit by trading crypto and DeFi. I'm going to teach you the mindset, the discipline that's going to allow you to take profits and put your stop loss orders in. I'm going to show you how to place asymmetrical trades. I'm going to show you how to manage a portfolio of assets. I'm going to show you all of my rules, my 10 coin system, my 30-day watch list, my first system. All of there is built in there to make sure you make money in the next bull market. It's all there, folks, ready for you. I teach this all. We have 2 interactive calls every single week. We teach it all remote from any time zone in the world. And this is your chance, folks, to be part of the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. Don't sleep on this, because when the bull market happens, you need to be armed with knowledge. If you don't have it, you're going to miss out on all the money that there's to be made. These are our different price points. The standard program is a 4-week course. It's $24.79. And again, this is a massive discount to the type of information you get in there. You get a community that is potentially going to be built in for the next 10 years. You can also upgrade to premium and be on my team. That's my personal Facebook Messenger. You get time with me here in my office during my office hours, and I tell you all of the juicy stuff behind the scenes that I can't tell you on the public calls. We also have our Kings of DeFi, which is our advanced blockchain trading program for 6 months afterwards. And of course, once you graduate, you can then potentially join that, or our investment club, where that's where the big money is made behind the scenes. Again, you're pre-approved at londonreal.tv/buy, but that only works tonight, that link. And if you do join us tonight, I want to give you 3 or 4 free bonuses. The first, I'm going to give you all of the video for one of the live events we did here in London at the Ritz Hotel. This is Dan Pena live at the Ritz. This was an intense day with 2 billionaires in the room. I think it cost $10,000 to be there, but I'm going to give you this video footage as a bonus. I apologize in advance if Dan offends you in any way, but hopefully he gets you to move forward, pull the trigger, and actually take some action that's going to create the generational wealth that I believe you deserve. But that's not it. I'm also going to give you module 1 of our Kings of DeFi, which is going to show you how to trade like the Terminator using my 1% rule. It's going to show you how to lock in those profits and adjust those reward to risk ratios that can make you a lot of money in the long run. On top of that, I'm going to give you module 1 of our investment club, which is what is a crypto token presale and how you can directly invest in early stage companies via SAFs and safes. This is gold, folks. These are all bonuses for you if you want to join tonight. I do want to make it clear that I don't want you in my academy if you're one of the following people. If you're a crypto day trader, please don't join my academy. I don't want you here. You lose money. You have no idea what you're doing. Go somewhere else. Number 2, if you're looking to get rich quick, please go somewhere else. Do me a favor. I am here for the next 10 years to create massive amounts of wealth for all of my students and club members, right? If you want to get rich quick, you're going to get poor quick. There's someone out there that will sell you that. Go buy it from someone else. Next, I don't want meme coin and people and internet trolls. If you've got time to be screwing around with that nonsense, again, I don't need you. I need people that pull the trigger and take action. I don't want blockchain fanboys. I don't want crypto academics. Again, these people don't make money. We are here to make money, create value, and change this ecosystem forever. So that's it, folks. It's we have an incredible group of students that kind of love what we do here. And this is your chance to really get ahead of the curve and create massive amounts of wealth. That's what we want to help you do here. And our students really love what we do. You know, we really don't ever really get much out there as far as what we do, but this is just a few students talking about their experiences inside our academy.
It's been overwhelmingly positive. I was really surprised by how much depth Brian and his team have put into this course.
It jolted me, and perhaps is what I needed to be pushed out of my comfort zone and to face my resistance in a lot of areas in my life.
What Brian and the team produced is something special, and I'm so grateful and blessed to be a part of this journey right now.
I have learned a lot about myself, about my poor mindset, about my poor habits, about money. Nothing that I've learned here, any school or university ever teach me.
It's really pushed me. It's pushed me above and beyond what even I thought was possible. I've done a few business courses in the past, but nothing can compare to the Wealth Academy.
It has been life-changing. It's a spiritual journey, a hero's journey. This marks a turning point in my life.
It looked to me being so wide, covering so many topics, that it was just going to be like an intro course for all other programs. And boy, was I wrong.
Here you have to face your fears, dig deep within with honesty and vulnerability. Jump in the void, take action without excuses, and all aiming for the same purpose of finally changing the world to make it a place of freedom, empowerment, respect, success, wealth, and health. This is priceless.
Very grateful for everyone I've met on the course. I love you guys. This will be forever etched in my memory. It's a beautiful experience, and I would recommend this to anyone.
Lean in, face your fears, face your resistance, support your teammates. My biggest takeaway from this course was knowing that I could make an impact.
And this is by far one of the best, most well laid out and thought through courses, plus the depth of the material is just one of a kind.
So I thank you all ever so much. You're all incredible. The family is amazing. Brian is super awesome. The Wealth Academy staff and team are just so helpful and incredible.
It's worth the investment. Come with us, grow and thrive and challenge yourself, and let's build this new world together.
I recommend to everybody to start this course. Don't have any doubts, just trust the process. It's really life-changing.
Pretty cool, huh? Man. I mean, look, we have amazing students. It is an amazing course, I will say. So everything we do here, we take really seriously, and we're doing this for the long run, 10 years. We create not just students and graduates, we create like family members, really. And so, look, you can join us right now, LeonardReal.tv/buy. That only works right now while we're on the call tonight, and you get the bonuses as well if you join us. Remember what Warren Buffett said, the best investment you can make is in yourself. That's so true, folks. Get yourself a peer group. Get yourself around a mentor, get yourself a community, get yourself the education. Do that first. Then I can show you how to make money. That's the easy part, but you've got to start with yourself, right? So invest in yourself now. Trust me, there'll be plenty of crypto deals and investments coming down the way. But if you don't get into a class like this, into a peer group like this, you're never going to have a chance with anything else. That's really the truth. By the way, if you want to book a call with Martini and ask her questions about any of this, Crypto and DeFi Academy, Kings of DeFi, or if you want to get involved with the investment club, here are her details. Whatever you do, though, please don't waste her time. She's very, very busy right now because we just had massive demand for people that want to be parts of all of our ecosystem here. So if you do book a call with her, make sure you're serious about pulling the trigger on something. Otherwise, just leave her alone, please. She's very busy. And again, this is our, or potentially your Wealth Academy journey. This is what we offer here on in the academy. We have the Wealth Accelerator, which is really the mindset of money that really walks you through getting money to come towards you and not to be running after money. Does anyone struggle with that? You've been running after money. Wouldn't you rather get money coming towards you? That's what that course does. We've got the Crypto and DeFi Accelerator, which gets you up to speed with this incredible ecosystem that's going to be a huge part of our future. Kings of DeFi is our 6-month advanced course when it comes to crypto. You're going to mint an NFT. You're going to get into the metaverse. You'll do advanced options trading, crypto chart reading. You'll become an influencer. You'll create content. You'll know how to manage a portfolio and maybe even raise a fund. And then, of course, Investment Club. If you really want to make millions and millions of dollars, that's what the Investment Club is all about. If you want to fly private, you're sick and tired of flying coach, this is what you want to be. All of these things are what we offer, depending on where you are in your journey. And we have some people that do them all at the same time, as Martini knows, and that works too. Those people just learn faster and they get wealthier faster. So we're here for you. But again, you have to pull the trigger, right? You have to decide that you're sick and tired of being broke. You're sick and tired of being poor. You're sick and tired of having the bankers run game on you. You're sick and tired of the same old excuses. You have to make the decision to pull the trigger. If you do, we will meet you halfway. But I can't do this for you. And we're really busy with all of our students, making them a lot of money in the background right now. And so again, what is your why? Do you have people? Do you have family? Do you have people in your life that you're looking out for? Raise your hand if you do. If you do, then you need to find out, like, if this is really important, if they're really important, you will find a way to get this done. They say with a strong enough why, anyhow is possible. So don't tell me you can't join our Crypto and DeFi Academy. Don't tell me you don't have a why that's strong enough. If not, go find a why that's strong enough. For these two boys, there's not much I wouldn't do. I might cut off fingers for these boys, all right, because they're so important. So if you really care about the people around you, about your legacy, then find a way to join us in this academy, all right? Because honestly, your excuses are your own at this point. And this market's going to pop up. You're going to blink and Bitcoin's going to be at 35,000. You're going to blink and it's going to be at 45,000. And boom, we're going to be making a massive amount of money in here and you're going to miss out. Don't let that happen to you. If you miss the next crypto bull run, I'm telling you, you have no excuses and it's going to eat you up inside for the rest of your life. Don't let it happen. We won't hear. All right. We are going to be riding this thing like a surfer. All right. Like Laird Hamilton on the big wave. Right. And I've had Laird on the show. So now I want to bounce the questions and answers. Was that helpful for everybody here? Did you learn a little bit about crypto? Are we excited about the future? I know I am. Look, we're blessed to have Martini in the house here. So I figure I'll pass it over to her and she can tell you next steps if you're curious about any of our programs. So Martini, over to you.
Awesome. Well, I'm really pumped because of my pumpkin spice latte and hearing all the amazing things that you got going on over here, Brian. It's just really exciting and really invigorating to know that, the future is here, and one by one, student by student, we are putting or doing our part to put financial freedom back to the hands of the people who really deserve it. So hopefully you guys were able to take away some major gems today and really take a look and see how crypto and DeFi can really support you as well as your families going forward. And it's just really crypto and DeFi, the adoption is like Dan Tapiero said, it's just inevitable, right? So please don't get left behind, guys. You guys have a perfect opportunity now to get yourselves up to speed, to start securing your financial wealth, and to really move forward in the future in a very positive way. So for those of you who are looking into joining us in the Crypto and DeFi course, it is a 4-week course that is very hands-on, that will support you every step of the way. And we have a link there. Number one, you guys can go ahead and go to londonreal.tv/buy if you are wanting to just go ahead and pull the trigger and join us. But for those of you who kind of want to know just a little bit more about it and what it entails for the 4 weeks, I went ahead and dropped some links inside the chat. So if you want to take a look down, the first one is going to be for you guys to go ahead and take a look at the page for the Crypto and DeFi Academy course. Be sure that as you're going through to go ahead and jot down some notes or some questions. So if you do have follow-up questions and you need someone to talk to, I'll be right there for you. So the next link is for you to go ahead and book a call with me. But like Brian said, I only want to talk to people who are serious. Okay. So if you're someone who's thinking that you're going to sign up at a later time, or, you got whatever type of excuses, I honestly don't want to hear them. I only want to speak to people who are really serious about taking their financial future back into their hands. So go ahead and book a call with me. And also for those of you who are already in the Crypto and DeFi Academy course, and if you are looking into joining us in the investment club, that same link for you to book a call is there. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and book a call. I know who you guys are on the line now, so I can't wait to connect with you guys again. For those of you, I know that we're all spread out throughout the land. So If you don't see a time that's available on my calendar, please go ahead and connect with me on Facebook Messenger and or email. And please let me know who you are, where you're from, and what time is most available, you know, or most ideal for your schedule. And I'll definitely do my best to move some things around and accommodate. You guys are very important to us, and we are really here, as you know, the London Real tagline says, to transform yourself. It's not just about lifestyle habits, but it's, you know, also about building wealth and building a better future for yourselves and your family. And we are just truly honored to be a part of that journey with you guys. So I can't wait to connect with you guys. We start in about 2 weeks, so we hope to see you on the first live call. And back to you, Brian.
Awesome stuff. Give it up for Martini, right? She is there going strong, a massive part of everything we're doing here. She's running that amazing community inside Investment Club and everything else. And she's investing alongside of us in Dan Tapiero's fund and Zarka and everything else. So thank you, Martini. We really appreciate everything you do behind the scenes in a massive way. Thank you to our Investment Club people that are here. I see a bunch of you here. I see some potential members as well, Mr. Craig Ford. Hopefully you'll pull the trigger and get in here before you miss out on all the hot stuff happening. And yeah, folks, what can I say? This is an exciting time. We're going to look back on this months from now, years from now, and think, wow, we were right here when it was waiting to happen. All of our predictions came true. I'm telling you, the signs are there. This is a big rolling that happened yesterday, right? Just the pushing back on the SEC. It's literally just on a hair trigger right now, ready to pop and explode. Meanwhile, we're locking in super exciting investments. And by the way, folks, we're locking these in at bargain basement prices. I mean, Petya knows this. I mean, the prices we're getting for these companies, I mean, it's just going to make us massively wealthy when this thing pops, and we couldn't be more ready. We're also building our network. We're building our knowledge. I'll give you one last piece of advice. I always say this, regardless of what the market is, you should always be working on three different things, and even more so when the market's quiet. That is, number one, your education. Number two, your influence. And number three, your early stage investments. Those are the three things you can always be working on. Always. That's how Sun Tzu makes sure that every battle is won before it's ever fought. And that's what we've been doing in the background for the last 18 months. Crypto has been bumpy, but we haven't even thought about it. We've been building our investment club up. We've been teaching. We've been learning. We've been creating our influence. I've been at every single conference regardless. And trust me, the entire ecosystem, they notice when you show up after everybody's run, right? All the cockroaches ran away when the lights got turned on. And like I said, all the crypto influencers or makeup influencers and car influencers now, they're all going to come running back when Bitcoin blasts through 40,000. But guess what? The ecosystem knows, and they're going to know who was there when nobody else was. And that's what we're doing here. And so we can't wait to do this. I can't wait to get out to Singapore in 2 weeks. I can't wait to get to Dubai, because there's just going to be crazy deals out there. People know who we are, and they really want to pull everybody here in the London Real ecosystem into this future. And I really hope you're a part of it. All right. So there you go, folks. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you learned something. What can I say? Pull the trigger. I look forward to seeing you inside our academy, inside our investment club. And let's go make some money. Let's create some value. Let's build the ecosystem. All right, folks. Take care. Big love. Bye.